guess it's a measure of how good the transfer window's been that I was disappointed last night. Greedy, some might say. It was utter greed, actually, on my part. So it got to 11 o'clock, the transfer window had shut, and I was thinking, where's this mystery guy? Where's this extra player who we were talking about? And it was football gluttony. That's what it was going on there with me. But hey, look, I think I was only a product of the reality that I'd got used to during the transfer window. I got used to and I got accustomed to signing players. Excuse me, let me move that a second. Signing players, lots of them, and quite frequently. So I thought, oh, damn, only one player brought in on transfer deadline day. How rubbish is that? I didn't give up at 11 o'clock either. They were talking about this extra document, which if you can put in this paperwork, if you look like you're going to get a deal done, but you don't think you're going to make the 11 o'clock deadline, but you've got the signature of the player and both clubs, they'll extend it. They'll give you another couple of hours, let it run until 1 in the morning. I thought, well, hold on, I'm not going to bed yet. I'm going to have a little look and see what happens here. Nothing happened. But as I say, it's a measure of how good the transfer window has been that I was disappointed and that I had become greedy and gluttonous in that way, because it's been superb. I remember looking back to last season, it was probably round about after the Leverkusen game. I did videos and wrote pieces on just how we'd mucked up. But because we'd mucked up, we'd need the rebuild. Now, if you've got to cast your mind back to then, the only person we brought in January was Calvin Phillips. It was quite clear we needed more than just that. We had the second oldest squad in the Premier League and the smallest. Certainly not the tools that were required to mount a double campaign in Europe and in the Premier League. And it was quite evident that West Ham needed a big overhaul. I did a video and about 8 players. We're going to need 8 players. But it wasn't like an enthusiastic video, certainly. It was a case of, we're going to need 8 players, and that ain't going to happen. And I said at the time, David Moyes is going to need to do a rebuild. And I'd be honest, I didn't want him to do it. I didn't think he was the man to do it. He struggles. He took too much time to get transfers done. And also, I felt he probably would clip Tim Steidten's wings. We actually needed to be quick. We needed to be ruthless. We needed to, at some points, beat our rivals to players. We just struggled. Sometimes we struggle identifying a player. Not only on for this window did we need to identify them, we need to identify them, we need to sign them, and we need to do it quickly. I had no faith that we would sign 8 players. Turns out we've signed 9. And I think it's absolutely remarkable. It's brilliant. I used to say about David Moyes, though, I used to say about him, he has had the sort of backing at West Ham he never enjoyed elsewhere. If you've been watching the channel a long time, you'll have heard me say it. But he enjoyed the sort of financial backing he never got at Everton. Somebody mentioned the other day that some of the pundits who are still, very much backing Moyes will say, well, what would have happened if Moyes would have got the sort of backing that Lopetegui's got? He did. He absolutely did. He spent between 450 and 500 million pounds at West Ham. He got a lot. He got to sign a lot of players. He really, really did. And I think now, my point is not to beat up David Moyes, but my point is David Moyes was backed. Julen Lopetegui has now been backed. Cast your mind back 12 months, he's walking out of Wolverhampton Wanderers because he'd not been supported in the transfer market, or so he said. Obviously, we've had some Wolves fans on here who claim that he was. It's not for me to tell them what went on at their club. They'd know far better than me. All I do know is Lopetegui's reasoning for walking out on Wolves. So whether he was supported or whether he wasn't, he didn't feel as though he was supported. He can have no such feelings now, that's for sure, because he has been fully backed in this window. And it's sort of over to you now, really. He's got the materials to build... It's not to build the team he wants, almost the squad has been built for him. Particularly in light of who's left as well, to get all those outgoings done on the last day as well. I think was pretty miraculous, really. It's only really Ings who's remaining there. So I do think it's over to him, actually. And, for him to say, OK, well, now there's your canvas, now paint your picture. Actually, to be fair, Kurt Zuma's still not done. At the point of recording this, Kurt Zuma's still not done. But the Saudi League, their transfer window's open for an extra couple of days, I believe. I couldn't help but think, though, thinking about Kurt Zouma, just going back to David Moyes, I don't think he would have been moved on. I think he might have played. I think Kurt Zouma would have possibly started the first couple of games. You people are making a lot about his knees and about after Dagenham and Redbridge, his knees were strapped and he couldn't walk. That's nothing new. He played last season like that. So yeah. Anyway, everybody's got rid of so many people. So many came in, and now Lopetegui is going to have to do his stuff. And don't get me wrong, I do think it's going to take him a little while to paint his picture, so to speak. But with Carlos Soler coming in, he has that extra creative midfielder. I don't mind, actually, so much something not working. I would have preferred Lopetegui to have noticed last season that maybe, sort of Souček and Ward-Prowse wasn't going to work. Okay, do you know what? It didn't happen. But what I quite like is, hopefully he's seen it in the game against Bournemouth and thought, okay, right, I don't want to see that again. That's good. That's fast. That's acting quickly. And I do think there's similarities between Lopetegui and Moyes, more than I ever thought. And I do find the guy quite annoying sometimes, Troy Deeney, when I hear him interviewed. But I do have his words ringing in my ears. And I think when he was on TalkSport, was less than a month ago, and I think he was speaking to Jim White or he was speaking to somebody like that, and he said, West Ham fans seem to think they're getting someone different to David Moyes. He said, I've seen Lopetegui's teams play. He said, I'm not so sure. I think they might be getting very, very similar to what Moyes did. And he wasn't trolling. He was just doing his job, and that's how he saw it. And so I'm looking at it now, and I'm thinking it is actually a lot closer to Moyes than I believe. But he can be close to Moyes. It's not that. It's just Moyes' system had failed to function anymore. Moyes was a defensive manager in many respects who'd forgotten how to defend. I would hope that maybe if he's just fixed that one bit, then we'll be significantly better. If Lopetegui is like similar to Moyes, but we got a strong defence, that would be something. It means we're in games and we remain in games. There's too many games last season. They were gone. The result was done very, very early. And you know what? Hopefully we're going to hang in games now, but he knows what he's going to do, and I think he can hopefully bring a little bit more creativity with the introduction of Soler. He's obviously not going to play today against Manchester City, is he? But be interesting. Today's game, it's going to be interesting. It really, really is. Guardiola was lavishing praise on Lopetegui, on West Ham's transfer window. Don't read too much in that. Guardiola lavishes praise on every opponent. He really does. He's that sort of guy. So he's certainly not silly enough to go around slagging everyone off, is he? So going to be tough. Really looking forward to Wan-Bissaka in this one. It has to be said. Be interested to know what he's going to do up front. The more I think about it, the more I think maybe he is going to play Bowen up there. It might be his best bet to not have Kudus on the left, to put Kudus on the right, and put Bowen up front might be something he could do. I don't want to see Kudus on the left again. You do get some moments. You get a couple of moments in each game, but you don't get them throughout the game, which I think, is far more likely if you play him on the right. Going to be interesting, though. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Lopetegui, fully back. Great transfer window. Great transfer windows. I just become a sport brat at the end. That was all it was. We've been treated. I was a kid that had opened 1 million Christmas presents under the tree and then was kicking off and having a tantrum because there wasn't one more left under there. So yeah, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I would love to say looking forward to getting back to the football now, but I hate this part of it. I hate this part. I'm ready. I'm ready for football now. I'm ready for 6-7 fixtures in a row, and we don't have it because the international break's coming, and we're going to have the rug pulled out from underneath our feet. However, we'll give Lopetegui some time with some players on the training pitch. Obviously, some of them will go international duty, but I don't know if Soler's been selected for Spain, or I would assume not. Gives him some time to incorporate and work with a few of these players. And as a Brucey bonus, he probably don't get to work with Thomas Souček because he'll be away with the Czech Republic, so he might have to think up something else to do.